Hey guys, Matt here again. Today, I worked on something I've never worked on before. I don't want to sound like I say this at the beginning of every video, but this is a system I've never even as much as opened. It's the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Uh, Bought this one specifically off my buddy who lives in Florida. His name's Matt. He had it for a good price. I was in the market for ones. I'd never had one. I've been wanting one for a really long time. Really coming to know and understand and grow an appreciation and love towards Neo Geo and the games that they've put out and the systems, the arcades. Amazing devices, and honestly, like I never really had the opportunity to really use any of their systems in the past. Within the past couple years, I've gotten into arcades and stuff, and now venturing into this. The only thing I've done to this prior to doing the backlight mod today was install the little coin battery so that the system stops bugging me. I popped one out of my Dreamcast VMU, threw it in here, good as new. So today we're going to install the backlit screen on this Neo Geo Pocket Color with the kit that I got from FunnyPlaying. Let's check it out. So step one is to get a Neo Geo Pocket Color, obviously. Let's take a look at the screen. This is actually the same screen from a slightly older Game Boy Color mod. You see the screen is a little bit smaller than the stock Neo Geo Pocket Color screen. But yeah, the same screen can be used for a now kind of sort of outdated Game Boy Color backlight screen mod. This is the board that all of the ribbons connect to. The touch sensor plugs into this tiny slot right here. This is the touch sensor and the display ribbon. So we're gonna take out our batteries. There's one Y-wing screw in here, and the rest are all Phillips. We're gonna take out all the Phillips screws now. Pop out the coin battery. Once again, I realized that this doesn't fit. Luckily, I have a longer one. And the back cover is off. There are 3 screws on the board. One here. One here. And since this was my first time opening, I couldn't figure out where the third one was. So as you see, I'm here trying to open it up like a caveman. Here's the revelation. The third screw. Need to pop out the thumbstick very gently. Now the board should come right out. But the speaker is still attached to the front housing. So you could either desolder the speaker from the 2 wires, or just gently fold the board out of the system. We're going to release the display ribbon. Here we go. Opens up like a book. set aside the buttons. And then I took the screen out by gently rocking it like I would with any other system. At this point I was looking for a good corner to grab the screen from. And it just pops right out. You see the glass lens is also smaller, the one that's provided to compensate for the smaller screen size, which is perfect. We're gonna pop out the old lens and install the new one to use it as a guide for positioning the new screen. Lens mod complete. Test this out. Everything looks good. Now we're gonna see exactly where the screen needs to go in relation to the masking on the new lens. See, there's a lot of room for error here. If the screen's off by just a little bit, you'll see the border, which is not something we want. We're gonna position the screen in the middle as best as we can. I did not receive any sort of acrylic or anything, so I'm gonna use what came with this kit, which was just some 3M double-sided adhesive and this plastic film. I'm gonna apply this plastic film to the back of the screen so that nothing shorts out when we close everything up. Take a look, make sure everything's still in place. I then applied some Kapton tape to the ribbon. I'm gonna apply a few strips here. Great job. At this point, I measured up the double-sided tape and tried to cut it as best as I can so that it can fit on each side of the screen, so that this, for the time being, can hold the screen in place. I cut one strip for each side of the screen. And as you see, it's not moving, but it's misaligned. So I took the old strips out and cut some new ones and centered it, and that looks way better. Now we're going to go ahead and connect the ribbon to the display board. Slide it right in and snap that connector closed.
This is the ribbon that connects to the board of the Neo Geo Pocket. I'm going to insert this one side. Everything should fit nice and snug when it's all closed up. So now I check to see if the screen is working. So I put the buttons and the silicone back in. I figured to attach the touch sensor as well. Now the ribbon that goes to the Neo Geo Pockets board has to be bent kind of like a zigzag shape. And that ribbon plugs in to here. Alright, the ribbon's in. We can go ahead and close this up a little bit and just be careful of the touch sensor. At this point I didn't know how it's supposed to be mounted or anything, so I just left it alone. Screwed these 3 screws back in to hold the board and everything in place. Still trying to wrap my head around this. I move the speaker wires out of the way so that they don't get crushed when closing the case. Oh, forgot about that guy. Let's go ahead and tuck him in, all nice and comfy. Popped in the coin battery. My flash cart, double A's, and we got nothing. So something went wrong here. Let's see what happened. We're going to open it back up and just reposition all the ribbons. So I started by taking out the display ribbon and repositioning that. Same with the connection from the board to the other board, using that bigger ribbon. Put the batteries and everything back in. Ah, sigh of relief. Do a little dance. Now we're gonna seal everything up, but not for the last time. Little teaser. Move those speaker wires out of the way. Put in the coin battery, the double A's, my flash cart, battery cover, and the thumbstick. So clicky. And then from here I just went through the setup to make sure all the buttons and everything are working. So at this point I was trying to figure out how the touch sensor works. Oh, there we go. I found it. There's 5 levels of brightness. I tend to play it on the brightest. And I think it looks great. Install wasn't too bad. So now I just put in the rest of the screws. And put that tri-wing screw in the hole under the battery bay. Batteries, battery cover. Flash cart. And that's it.
So this is pretty much a drop-in screen. Things definitely go much easier, or I would imagine that they would if you use a 3D printed bracket. I'm probably going to get one made. My buddy at my job has a 3D printer, so I'll probably just find the bracket on Thingiverse or something like that and get it printed out. For my first time doing it, it took me a little longer, a little longer than I thought it would. If I ever get my hands on another one of these, like I would love to have a clear one or that blue camouflage style one. I would love to have those. I know that these screens don't work in the slim model of the Neo Geo Pocket Color, so that's just something to keep in mind. If you have a slim one, I don't think these screens work in those. Probably size restrictions and things like that. And, you know, smaller body means smaller area inside to work with. I absolutely love this thing. The fact that the lens kind of masks around the screen is a plus. I used whatever FunnyPlaying included in the case. I think their website says that it comes with an alignment piece of acrylic to align it and stuff, but mine didn't. It just came with that double-sided tape, so I worked with what I had. The screen's not moving around in there anyway, at least not anytime soon, I don't think. I usually don't like to do stuff like that, but personally for stuff that I'm keeping, that I own, like I wouldn't sell something like that. So the fact that this is mine and I'm gonna take good care of it and, you know, keep it for myself, but I will most likely 3D print the bracket. But again, I think this was a $50 kit. Yeah, this was $50 from FunnyPlaying. It took a couple of weeks to get here. Totally worth it. It comes with the glass lens, which is great. I fudged up and I ordered another glass lens, not knowing that this would come with one. I don't think it says it on the website. It says it comes with the bracket to keep it in place, but it doesn't. Instead, they sent it with a glass lens. Whatever. You know, I rather than tell them, hey, it didn't come with a mounting bracket or whatever, I figured to just try to do something myself to make it fit. You got to pick your battles, you know. It would take much longer to get a bracket or something. I could have my buddy print one at my job, or probably print within a couple of hours or something like that. So anyway, what do you think? You think it's worth the time? Think it's worth the money? I personally think it's totally worth it. The fact that you don't have to solder anything is a huge plus, especially for people getting into hardware modifications and things like that. This, by the way, is a flash cart for it. I got this from Stone Age Gamer. I think I paid about $100 for it. Put every ROM on the SD card. It's a really cool and unique 3D printed shell on it, which is cool. I think it holds a couple games at a time on the cartridge itself, and you can copy over and add and remove. I think up to 15 megabytes worth of ROMs. And the ROMs are pretty small, so you could have a couple built into the cartridge at a time, but then swap them out with other ones off the SD card. It's like a fairly quick copy process. Not like you go set a pot of coffee and come back and it's done. It's much quicker than that. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's talk. Do you think it's worth it? Is this something that you would do yourself? Since there's no soldering involved, $50. more or less a drop-in thing. Just got to be a little careful with ribbons and things like that. As you saw, I goofed something up and had to plug in one of the ribbons again. So I just unplugged all of them and plugged them all back in, and then the screen wound up working again. These are the mistakes that happen along the way, but very easily fixed. I hope to get another one of these and maybe do it again, or redo this one when inevitably the IPS display comes out for it. It's only a matter of time.
So I was able to get the bracket printed, as you see here. I cut out the top piece of the bracket and installed the thinner of the two sides on the left and the thicker side on the right. The speaker wires came undone, so I had to solder those back into place. And this is the end result with the now 3D printed bracket installed. I had gotten the 3D printed bracket from DeadpanRobot's page over on Thingiverse and just had to modify it by hand. So for now, this mod is complete.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.